$150,000. That is what it costs the average tour professional just to compete for a single season. Miss the cut, and you earn nothing. Not reduced pay. Nothing. 4 missed cuts, and you are over $30,000 in the hole, dipping into savings just to book the next flight. The brutal reality of professional golf is that for most players, survival has nothing to do with talent, and everything to do with a ledger that almost no one sees. Each week on tour begins with a line in the ledger. The average spend for a journeyman player hovers around $6,000, whether or not a single dollar is earned. Flights and ground travel typically run between $500 and $1,500, depending on the tournament's location. Lodging is rarely glamorous, budget hotels or shared Airbnbs. Yet even splitting costs, the bill often lands between $1,200 and $1,500 for the week. Meals add another $500, a figure that cannot be cut much further when every round depends on nutrition and routine. Caddy compensation is the largest single item outside of travel. On the Korn Ferry Tour, a caddy's base pay averages $2,000 per event, with the expectation of 7 to 10% of any winnings. For a player who misses the cut, that base salary is owed regardless, and it is non-negotiable. Some weeks, the caddy share alone exceeds the player's own take-home pay. Coaching and training are essential for staying competitive, not luxuries. A swing coach might require a $2,500 monthly retainer spread out over the season. Add in a few $100s a month for a fitness trainer or physiotherapist, and the total for coaching and physical upkeep easily surpasses $8,000 over a year. Insurance, mandatory on many tours, costs around $100 per event, and entry fees can range from $100 to $500 each week. Equipment is sometimes supplied by sponsors, but for those without a deal, a new set of clubs or shoes can mean another $5,000 to $10,000 out of pocket across the year. The sum of these categories is relentless. Every tournament, whether played in Texas or Thailand, demands an upfront investment. The season ledger for a Korn Ferry journeyman like James Nicklaus shows $150,909 in total expenses, averaging $6,000 for every week in the field. No matter how well or how poorly a player performs, these costs are fixed. Any delay in prize money or a stretch of missed cuts quickly turns the ledger from a tool of planning into a warning sign. For most, the math is simple. If income does not arrive fast enough, the numbers stop working and the dreams start slipping away. Missing the cut doesn't just mean a lost opportunity, it means a week's investment instantly turns into a deficit. On the Korn Ferry Tour and most professional circuits, the rule is blunt. If you don't play the weekend, you don't get paid. Prize money vanishes, but the bills remain. Every missed cut leaves a player on the hook for travel, hotel, meals, caddy salary, and entry fees. Costs that don't pause for bad form or bad luck. A single missed cut wipes out roughly $6,000 for a developmental player. But the real blow comes when those weeks stack up. 4 missed cuts in a row, hardly rare on a tour where the margin is razor thin, can drive a $32,000 hole into a player's finances. That's not a theoretical number. The ledgers from recent Korn Ferry seasons lay it out in black and red. 4 weeks, no income, $32,000 gone. For many, that's more than half a year's rent, or the entire sum of a modest sponsorship. The economics are unforgiving. Caddy base pay, usually $2,000 per event, is owed regardless. Flights and hotels are booked in advance and non-refundable. Meals and coaching don't get cheaper just because the weekend is cut short. The only thing that drops to zero is earnings. The pressure of this system is captured in the words of Ben Griffin, a player who has lived both the highs of the PGA Tour and the grind of developmental circuits. When a stretch of missed cuts turned my cash flow negative, I literally had to dip into my personal savings to book the next flight. For most players, the bank balance becomes a scoreboard as important as the one on the course. A run of missed cuts can erase months of savings in less than a month. The policy is clear and almost universal outside the 4 majors, which offer only a token payout for those who miss the weekend. On regular tour stops, there is no safety net. The math is simple and brutal. Every week without a check is another step closer to running out of money. For many, the fear isn't just failing to win, it's failing to survive the season. Tour membership is defined by a points ladder, not a fixed contract. On the PGA Tour, only the top 125 in the FedEx Cup standings keep full playing rights for the next season. Players ranked 126 to 150 drop into conditional status, which means fewer guaranteed starts, and a heavy reliance on sponsor exemptions or Monday qualifiers. Below 150, entry becomes a week-to-week gamble, with many forced to chase opportunities on lower tours. The Korn Ferry Tour operates on a similar system, but the cut line falls at the top 30. Those who finish inside earn a PGA Tour card, while the next 45 retain Korn Ferry status. Fall outside the top 75, and a player must return to Q School, where a single round can erase a year's work. On the DP World Tour, the top 110 keep their cards, while those below face relegation to the Challenge Tour. These thresholds are not just numbers, they dictate access to events, sponsorship exposure, and the difference between earning a living and scrambling for entry fees. For those hovering near the cut lines, a single shot can mean the difference between a full schedule and a season spent waiting for a phone call that may never come. Sponsorship deals, often seen as a lifeline for players outside the top ranks, rarely offer true security. The average contract on the Korn Ferry Tour or Challenge Tour falls between $15,000 and $50,000 for the season, but these numbers come with strings attached. Most agreements include performance clauses. Make fewer than 8 cuts, and the payout can drop by half or more. Some contracts allow sponsors to terminate support entirely if a player's results fall below a set threshold, or if a run of missed cuts stretches too long. Even in-kind deals, like free clubs or travel stipends, can be revoked mid-season if expectations are not met. This conditional income turns every slump into a financial emergency. A few missed weekends do not just erase prize money, they can trigger a cascade of sponsor reductions, travel cutbacks, and mounting debt. For many, the anxiety spills off the course. The mental toll is visible in the numbers. Only 22% of Korn Ferry players accessed the tour's wellness and mental health programs last year, despite the availability of confidential counseling and workshops. Fear of stigma and sponsor reaction keeps most players silent, even as the pressure builds. The system rewards stoicism, but punishes any sign of struggle, deepening the volatility that defines life on the margins of professional golf. Eduardo Molinari's year shifted with a single scan. A nagging wrist injury, pushed aside to keep playing, forced him out of the DP World Tour and cost him the entire Asian swing. 4 months vanished, along with $250,000 in prize money. His equipment contract shrank to partial support, future payments now tied to world ranking. Even after surgery, Molinari had to start over on the Nordic Golf League, trading big purses for a shot at rebuilding his career. One injury reset everything. At the WM Phoenix Open, Charlie Hoffman and Patton Kizzire faced a playoff after 72 holes. The stadium's 16th became the stage. Hoffman drained a 12-foot birdie putt for $1.35 million and a multi-year exemption. Kizzire's par left him with a handful of starts and no guarantees. In golf, security and uncertainty can hinge on a single shot. Only 6% of players control most of the sport's career value. The rest share rental cars, split Airbnbs, and rotate caddies to survive. Every decision matters. An injury, a missed putt, a playoff loss can erase months of work. The margins are that thin. Right now, over 78% of professional golfers compete without reliable mental health support or financial security. As the spotlight stays fixed on the elite, the grind in the shadows continues. The real test isn't just on the course, it's surviving the system. Share your thoughts below.